Okay, ladies and gentlemen, in this short video, I'm going to share my first ever experience with YouTube. Why? It's the 20th anniversary of YouTube. YouTube has been going for 20 years, and I and my generation were the first to ever really embrace and use YouTube. I'm 35 years old. I'm currently a content creator on the platform. So let's share with you the first ever video that I experienced after the first one that was uploaded on YouTube, because I watched the first one as well. I basically watched the first video ever on the platform, which is me at the zoo. That was the one that everybody watched. We all watched that. That was the first one. But let me share with you the story of the next video that I watched after that one. So let's go. So I didn't have the internet at home. The internet was not something I had in my household. But when going to school, high school, secondary school, we had IT rooms. We used to call them IT rooms, where you had these big block computers. So as you already know now in 2025, or if you're in education or have experienced any PC on earth, you already know where you are, unless you're in a third world country and you just have like retro tech. Most of the screens to your computers are flat. They're flat screens. Not these chunky big computers. But back when we first experienced computers becoming more domestic and available, we had these very large back computers. Now, we had these earlier on as well, and they were a bit more retro. I remember one that was running on like something called like Acorn, like some really old school computers, like the Macintosh and stuff that you could get. They were a little bit more expensive, but we had those as well. But into high school, we started to develop a little bit more, then move into flat screen. But just before we moved to that flat screen generation of computers, we did have the big back computers that we still had available. So when YouTube was first released, we still had those, and we were transitioning to those flat screen computers. That was my generation that experienced both of those different types of computers. But of course, the older generation had that transition as well, but they weren't in education. So we were still in school, and then we went in school from the big computers with the big screens, with the big back on them, the ones that you had to get the big chunky wire out the back of them in order to, to plug in the power as a big power cord into the flat screen TV, like the flat screen computers that we have now. So Windows was developing a little bit further. Windows was what you would predominantly use, especially in the schools here in the UK. Windows was the operating system of choice. When you get into higher education, even now, that's when you get access to Apple computers. As I said before, previously, when we were a lot younger, my generation, so I'm 35 now, so when we were in primary school, Macintosh was a thing back then at some point, but it wasn't highly accessible. It wasn't something that we would have quite often. There was something called Acorn computers, but I don't remember what they were because I was way too young. At that point, I remember using that kind of computer when I was in like year 2. So that's like, you're like 5 years old or something like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, at that point, I've used a computer, but it's not the same thing. You know what I'm saying? All right. So moving on back into high school. So I'm in about year 10. We're using computers. So secondary school, and YouTube has become a thing. So the first video we watched is me at the zoo. So this is when everyone was discovering YouTube, but it wasn't really like, necessarily an entertainment place yet. Like, we got this video and we thought it was amazing, and it was like, oh, okay, we've accessed that. There was a few more things that was coming to the platform, but then the one that I remember, the most prominent video that I watched at the beginning of YouTube was a maze video. I'm going to explain this and how we stumbled on the video. So me and a few of my friends, man, when we all discovered YouTube, we would search for things, we'd find things. When you found something really cool, you would get on your swirly seat, your wheelie chair, and you wheel over to the computer, be like, oh, bro, what are you watching? And then we'd watch what the person was watching if they've discovered something really, really cool. So me and my boy Jeevan, we discovered this maze video, and we would watch it and also invite people to come and watch it. And here's the reason why. And I'm going to explain what this video is. So it's very simple, and it's a simple concept. What you would do is you would load the video up, and there'd be a little cube that would work its way through a maze. The maze was lime green, and it was a black background. Remember, YouTube quality and the videos that were being uploaded weren't in a high definition quality. They were still low quality, and it was like sometimes re-uploads of things that you would find on TV, because people was able to do that now. Barely. So with this maze video, the green cube would make its way through a green maze, and it would slowly make its way through. Before it reached the end of the maze, you would have a jump scare. So there would be a scary face. The face that would appear, from my recollection and my memory, is the face of the Exorcist lady. So there's an Exorcist movie. I can't remember exactly what it's called, and there's a lady that's possessed. It's a very popular Exorcist movie, and she turns her head around and she vomits all over the place. It's a very graphic horror movie, and there's one face that you can capture from that movie, and she's scarred, she's like twisted, she's possessed basically by a demon or the devil, whoever, and her face is like contorted, her teeth are rotten, like there's all sorts of stuff going on with the face, right? And it's meant to be like quite a scary horror looking face to scare you. She's possessed, her eyes are green, like all sorts going on. So before this green block would make its way to the center of the maze, that face would appear and a loud scream. Now, what made this video so great is it already knew that the viewers would most likely be watching with headphones on, which made it even better. So what you would do is you would invite your friend to the computer screen, put the headphones on. So it was the old school headphones, not really earbuds unless you bought them from the shop, because you could have MP3 players. I mean, we had MP3 players, brother. And then you would sit your friend there and then wait for him to be like, oh, what the hell is that? And that was the first real big experience we had on YouTube 20 years ago when this platform first started. A jump scare video with a green maze that would make its way to the end of the maze and jump scare you with a horror face. That's simple. So I just wanted to share that story and just let you know of the first ever experiences my generation had, the first generation of YouTube had on YouTube in this 20th anniversary video that I've decided to make. But let me know what your first experiences or first large experience was with YouTube. What age was you? Was it at the beginning of YouTube like me? Was you the first generation to be experiencing YouTube in this way with those low quality videos? There's a lot more that I watch, but you know, we can get into those if you want to in another video. As I said, 35 years old, I got a lot of experiences, and the beginning of YouTube is one of them. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.